all right, let's pause for a moment and listen in here to Senator Kamala Harris.
This is how I think about the issues, and these will always be my priorities.
You're the only woman of color standing on that stage. What message should voters of color, and specifically black voters, be taken away from the performance tonight?
Well, I think that the issue, the takeaway is that there needs to be a lot more discussion about how this is impacting people, and we can have the conversation from a perspective about ideology and academic, but we also need to look at it through the lens of the experiences people are having every day, and that was what I hope to add to the conversation.
Chelsea, you've been very clear about the amount of respect you have for Vice President Biden, but in this particular setting, why do you feel it was important to challenge him on his record and the comments that he made a couple weeks ago?
Because I just feel that we have to be honest about what happened. I mean, we really have to be honest. And I said what I meant. It was hurtful. I have a great deal of respect for her. And I think it's really important for us to remember our nation's history on these issues. History on these issues. And that it's not history from a really long time ago. Like, it directly impacted me. And so when we talk about these issues, we can't talk about it with a sense of nostalgia only. About, oh, those days. Those days have an impact on today. And that's what I felt needed to be said, and that's why I said it.
Are you going to take a woman like you to beat Donald Trump? Is it going to take a woman like you to beat Donald Trump?
Yes.
Did you beat Joe Biden tonight?
We have a disagreement on an issue. I don't.
But look,
all right, guys, we gotta go. We gotta clear away. Excuse me. Clear away. Excuse me. Where is Antjuan satisfactory? Let her walk through. Guys, please let her
getting
walk
as much
through,
talking time as the vice president and Sanders.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so there we heard California Senator Kamala Harris talking to reporters, and that last question that was really interesting about whether or not she was the person, Hari, to beat Joe Biden. What did you make of her answer there?
Well, it's the number one, or to beat Donald Trump.
First she said, first it was Donald Trump, then it was Joe Biden.
Oh, she said
then
Joe Biden.
I thought the question was
the reporter.
So the question said, the question was, are you the woman to beat Donald Trump? And said yes, and then it was, and what about Joe Biden?
Oh, I thought
she said, and then Kamala Harris said, well, we have a disagreement.
Oh, I thought I thought the question was, did you beat Joe Biden tonight?
Oh, okay.
It may have been
did you? Okay, excuse me, I misheard.
We can answer all the questions.
Let's just answer.
All right, so then with that as the question, did you beat Joe Biden? And then her answer being, we have a disagreement. You know, that's a different tone than what we heard, that very heated exchange that we'd been playing earlier.
She won the night. I think it's clear that she won the night. She's going to dominate the news cycle. She's going to have the most clips that are played. Fundraising is going to pop. Her online numbers are going to pop. I think that is very clear. And we see that in the response in the spin room, both from the Harris camp, but also from the Biden camp, frankly, in their defensiveness. To the other question around whether she can beat Trump, I think that's telling too, because tonight, it's the number one issue. We heard that in the town hall in Des Moines, right? The number one issue is who can beat Donald Trump in the fall of 2020. We saw a fighter tonight in Kamala Harris, right? We know that she can appeal to a wide range of folks. I think that's an important thing that came out of tonight, because I think that was a question mark, and it was answered pretty resoundingly today.
Can I push back a little bit on what you're saying? I think you're right about the argument that it's a question of who can beat Donald Trump. But when I look at, because I traveled this country in 2018 in the midterms, and I know what it took to win congressional races in places where Donald Trump won in 2016, we won in 2018. When she raised her hand for the Green New Deal, and when we talk about eliminating private insurance, that makes the math and the formula a bit complicated. And I'm not disputing Kamala's ability to win. I don't want the internet to beat me up. I think she's a hell of a candidate, and I think she will be a hell of a nominee if she's that person. But I do think that it's more than just beating Donald Trump. It's about being able to campaign with people up and down the ballot so we can have a Congress, state legislative seats based on the court decision are going to be important, governor's races and down ballot races, all those things go into play in a general election. And when you take on issues like the Green New Deal, by the way, that did not pass the Senate that she's a part of, and that the majority of the American people are against, it makes the formula a bit complicated from a very pragmatic standpoint.
And it kind of makes you wonder, well, who's she going after here? Who is she? Who's her base? Because you think it's one thing, and then it sort of becomes another thing, and you do need to be consistent in that. But it was interesting tonight because she came across as commanding and classy. And when you're going up against Donald Trump, he's a bombastic guy. You need to have somebody who's commanding, but you also, I mean, she has that class that may appeal to voters.
I think I said this to you. Tonight, she owned the room. I haven't seen that from Kamala Harris in several speeches I've heard from her or appearances. She owned the room. She took the oxygen out of the room tonight, and arguably a room that would have been hard otherwise to take the oxygen out of.
All right, on that